G'day everyone, Evan Batten here, the unretired reporter, and I'm here to say thank you so much for your patience as we try to navigate some technical issues with our live. Sometimes it goes smoothly. It went well yesterday, and today we're just up against it. So thank you for your patience. And we are just now working to make sure that this is doing everything that a good live event will do. And it sounds like it is working. Evan Batten is my name. I am the unretired reporter. Yes, I can see it's working now. Friends, can I tell you, for the last 22 minutes, I've been chatting away, waiting for someone to comment. And I finally did some checks and realised that I was standing here talking to myself. So it is great to have you here. Thank you for joining this chat. It's all around your executive presence and how to achieve excellence in your executive presence, how to show up authentically. And the challenge that we're putting out there for discussion tonight, and I want to hear your comments as we stand here on the south bank of the Yarra in the heart of Melbourne. Beautiful night. Look, it's meant to be winter. And I've laid myself up, I've got a scarf on here as well, a tie and a lovely thick jacket. And I've come down here because I want to put into practice the things that I like to encourage as a former TV and news reporter who knows the value of being out on location and connecting with people in real places, not just in studios behind cosy desks. Time and a place for everything. But we're here to talk about your personal brand and the value of it. And more importantly, there's this idea of a personal brand sometimes gets mixed up with being an influencer. And we'll get to that kind of idea soon. But I wanted to start the conversation. And hi to everyone in London who's tucking in for lunch. Thank you for joining us. Dinner time is well and truly gone here in Sydney. And I know our friends in New York and the east coast of the States are just up. So it's good to have you here with us. Thanks for dialing in for this wonderful conversation as we unpack what could be the biggest threat to your leadership, visibility and relevance. And how is it you're going about it? Because for so long, so many executives have relied on a dead tactic of media training. And by that, I mean the old school performative media training techniques of how to breathe, how to stand, how to use your voice, how to memorize talking points, command phrases, posture. It's a step away from acting, right? It's very artificial, very contrived. And guess what, friends? Most people see straight through it. We don't buy it. They may not talk about it every time, but there's a loss of connection for what could be. And the sad thing is that I've seen consistently over time is that people believe that this is keeping them safe. In a regulated environment, it does matter. You've got to be careful what you say. But people play it so safe. They take so many steps away from being themselves and making actual connections with people and avoiding the issues to the extreme where the way they come across is just so fake, so robotic, so corporate. They sound like a corporate puppet. And what's the alternative? And I like the image of a boat anchor because the very thing that we think is keeping us safe might actually be the thing that's holding us back. Clinging on to those old performative media training techniques, they've never really worked. I mean, let's just take, for example, a politician who you just hear on a talking point who doesn't actually connect with people. He just says what they want to say. They just do things to control the environment and don't really connect with people. People see through it. We don't believe them. We don't support them. We don't vote for them. The relationship's lost. We see it with corporate leaders who are just so focused on talking about their work, the project, and there's no humanity there. There's nothing to... Now, look, of course, I'm not going to diminish that and say that the numbers don't matter. That's the business. That's what we're there to talk about. But, friends, your work doesn't speak for itself anymore. You need to tell the story. And guess what? It's not as big a risk as you might have thought it was, particularly for those who've gone through this old way of showing up on video, of minimizing your visibility, of staying small, of staying quiet. And there is a much better way to go, and it is to show up authentically, to build out your personal brand consistently over time. So what is a personal brand? Well, friends, I hear it so many times. Not only do people not like how they look and sound on video, but they don't believe that they've got a story that's worth sharing. They decide, instead of putting myself out there, I'm just going to stay quiet, and I'll let other people get all the attention, and I'll minimise my position, and I'll let the marketing team put out a video, and they can put out a statement. Do it that way. I won't put my head above don't want to get shot down. The risk of not showing up is becoming so much greater than it ever was before. You might have felt like that was a comfortable position to hold. But right now, your competitors are out there showing up authentically, building their personal brand, making connections with people. And the formula, what they're actually doing, people are getting to know them, starting to like them, and that builds trust over time. And whatever it is that you're doing, your humanity is what people are going to connect with more than your authority, your title, your reputation, your position, all these other things. You can be an amazing actor or an amazing singer, but a terrible human, and it has an effect. How you show up, how you connect, it has an effect. And friends, right now, you might be climbing the corporate ladder. You might be eyeing off a C-suite role a couple of years from now and thinking, I'll just play it safe. I'll keep my head down, and I won't disrupt things too much. I don't want to take too many risks. Don't want to put a foot wrong. But the reality is you've got colleagues out there now who have a personal brand. There are your counterparts at other organisations, competitors, who are also eyeing off the same jobs that you are. They have a personal brand. They have an online presence. Now, friends, this is not about being an influencer. What's the difference between a personal brand and being an influencer? I'd love to know your thoughts. Let me just skip screens across here and just check and see if there are any comments, questions coming through at this point. Please feel free to ask any questions you have. Just checking here. And what's the difference, do you think, between an influencer? In my mind, is really somebody who is putting themselves out there consistently just to monetize a large audience. And they're prepared to do whatever it takes to get the numbers up, the metrics, whichever platform it is, whatever metrics they put out there, number of likes, comments, shares, reshares, saves, reposts, all of those things, right? The social media platforms put those there as a way to kind of get us to, improve our rankings and all of that. And you might think that serves us well, right? Because, if you get those numbers up, then that's a great thing. Is that how you're measuring success in all of this? I want to encourage you to think about it very differently. Your personal brand is worth so much more than that. And you want to be aware of and acknowledge what the social media platforms are doing. But, when it comes to some of them, they're the trends that are really ranking through the roof. To follow those trends is going to compromise at some point your reputation. And really what people want to know is they want to connect with you. They want to engage. They want to hear from you. They want to understand what it is that drives you, what it is that motivates you, what inspires you. How do you lead? What do you think is important? How do you articulate the story around this that will engage people, that will bring to visibility and relevance what it is that you're on about, what it is you're wanting to share. And this is the real power of a personal brand. Do you know what it leads to? It leads to new opportunities. As you're climbing the ladder, a strong personal brand will open more doors than you can imagine. You'll be approached by other people offering you jobs or asking you to apply for jobs. You don't even need to put out the open to work banner on LinkedIn. You just let people know that you're around, you're available, you're interested, you are curious about the world, you're curious about the industry that you're in, You're invested in this. It matters to you. It's not just a job. This is about more than just earning money. And of course, you're there to provide for family, that you're there to live a good quality of life, for sure. But it's, what is it that really drives you? What's your origin story? Why did you get involved in this in the first place? You start sharing those stories consistently over time, it gets attractive to other people. They go, oh, I want to have a chat to them. That's one of the opportunities within the organisation that you're in. Visibility, it helps. You've got to be clever about how you do it. But I tell you what, for so many people who don't like how they look and sound on video, and I had a conversation with somebody late last week about this. I won't identify who they are. That's not the point. The point is, so many people feel the same way. They've not been embracing media training techniques to stay safe in a performative way. They've been avoiding the camera altogether to stay safe. And the same analogy, if the boat anchor, applies to them. What they think is keeping them safe, staying invisible, is actually the biggest threat of all. Because what about when you get put into a role where you have to articulate the story? I've never been a chief financial officer. I've sure interviewed a lot of them. I've seen a lot of them in the media spotlight under pressure. And I know something of the challenges that you face in that role because you've stayed close to the numbers your whole career. You know it backwards, right? But suddenly you've got to speak to investors, the board, the market. And you've got to be able to articulate a story, not just kind of talk about those figures. They don't tell the story. So how do you show up, right? Start now. Start with your personal brand now. This is the coaching work that I do. I've been working in mainstream media for the last 30 years as a nightly news reporter. For the last 3 years, I've been running my own media consulting business, helping C-suite leaders all over the world to show up authentically. I love it. If ever I wondered, if it was about my ego as the news reporter, and at times it was, sure, it felt great breaking an exclusive story, lead story, flagship bulletin, nightly news, lead story. Sorry if that wind is coming through a bit. It's just starting to pick up now. Here on the south bank of the Yarra, heart of Melbourne, here for some networking events and just getting into these live connections. I love these conversations. I love where it goes. I've been trying all sorts of different social media platforms and getting around all the technical issues. I just want to apologise for those of you that were here. This event was scheduled to start just over half an hour ago. And some of you in New York would have woken up early to be ready to watch it. Thank you for coming back. It's great to have you here and part of the conversation. For those of you on your lunch break in London, great to have you here. Please do ask any questions as they pop into your mind. And friends in Australia, hopefully you're rugged up inside and not doing what I'm doing outside here, shivering on the... Well, it's not that cold, let me say that. But I am got scarf, suit, tie, overcoat, so I'm warm. But this is the value of getting out and about in the environment, of putting yourself in the story, capturing the moments as they happen around you, and doing interviews with other people to create content that will tell your story, develop your personal brand. And so even though I'm out of mainstream media now, working exclusively in my business, Move You Media, which is all about the emotional connections to move people, to build connections with people through media, social media, but through real storytelling, through the power of your personal brand, your actual story to create connections. Everybody just has these two big issues that I see consistently. I just mentioned one of them. We don't like how we look and sound on video. It's not comfortable. We don't feel confident in that space. We want to avoid it. We want to keep ourselves safe from what feels like a threat, right? Of mucking it up, of looking silly. And we've got all these old stories floating around that just, they're limiting beliefs that hold us back and tell us we're better off not doing this, better off staying quiet. That's one of the problems that consistently hold people back from building out a personal brand that actually elevates their leadership, that gives them visibility, accountability, transparency, helps them to establish vision and values and culture, helps them to speak to large audiences, to build connections at scale, to build trust at scale, to help people to know them, like really know you. Who are you? What do you stand for? Maybe they'll like you. They don't have to agree with you. Maybe they'll still like you. And that's the pathway to trust, isn't it? know you, like you, trust you. We don't think that our story is worth sharing. And so a lot of people decide to stay quiet, let other people get the attention, and we're not going to articulate our story. It's a huge mistake. As soon as you outsource your story, or worse, avoid telling it altogether, you weaken it. If you outsource it to a media company, to the production team in your firm, the corporate, the media team within your organisation, and ask them to do the video for you or tell your story, it's going to take longer, it's going to cost more, it won't be in your voice, it'll be one step removed from you, less authentic, and so much better when you can just take ownership of your story and share it in a more timely fashion, more regularly. And look, here's the reality of it. Having spent decades now working in mainstream media as a nightly news reporter for all of the commercial networks in Australia, 7, 9 and 10, most of the time as a crime reporter, I've seen what importance there is in having good quality equipment and being able to be seen and heard well to create that connection, to create those emotional moments. The key things really are putting yourself in the story, having a host, having a storyteller that actually drives the narrative, that makes the connection, that shows up, the face of, doing interviews with other people and capturing the moments. You know, show me, don't tell me. Show me what happened. Give me the before and after, the behind the scenes, a day in the life. Tell me what's actually happened. Let me see the finished product. Those are the three core building blocks. And for decades, I've seen and believed, and it's been true, that you needed expensive production teams to be able to do that well. And so making videos for organisations was very expensive. And a lot of effort went into making them look really slick. You know, lovely music and graphics, dissolves, beautifully edited. Time and a place for all of those sorts of things. But guess what? Corporate videos, they start to look and sound the same. Testimonial videos, they can start to look and sound the same. They're kind of told by an absent presenter. There's no one driving the narrative. It's done by a production company. They do it, but the CEO's not there behind it, right? And now I hear you, CEOs, I get it, right? You're telling me, I haven't got time to make videos. Are you kidding? I've only got time to think. Storyteller mindset changes everything, not only about how you show up online, but also about how you do your internal comms. It saves you time with monthly newsletters, emails to staff. You can do a short video much faster that will convey the message you need to than you can type an email. You can save time with your functions, the tasks that you do every day to connect with your teams by doing short videos instead. And by translating that into telling your story as well on social media platforms like this here on LinkedIn, but on all of them, right? In terms of recruitment, a lot of large organisations are looking for key people in particular areas, and those people sometimes hang out on TikTok and Instagram. And so why aren't you there? Why aren't you showing up there? Now, we don't want to see the caviar you had, as an entree last night and hear about your ski. Maybe we do. Maybe we want to. It's about what's the vision and the values that drives you, that motivates you, that underpins what you do. These are the things that people want to know about. Who is the real you? What's your humanity? And that's where people want to start to understand what's driving you and motivating you, really inspiring you. Let me just turn around here so you can see that the tram going across the bridge there. We don't need to be so locked in here. This is the beauty of having a laptop. And so to the point earlier about, previously it was all about our content. Content creation was all about having good quality equipment, expensive cameras, live eye technicians, microphones, everything else. Now it's just not like that at all. Friends, my entire coaching program is built around smartphone storytelling. Do you know how much you can do with these devices that are in our pockets all the time? Not just this, you can create TV, documentaries, news stories. Have a look at your website. I guarantee you, if there's a news section in there and a Teams section on your corporate website, have a look at how old the news content is. Have a look at when those team profiles were last updated. I've not seen many examples at all where it's relevant, timely, up to date. And that's because it takes time to build out those websites, right? They're set and forget kind of foundational stuff. What I said, we had the website done 2 years ago. It doesn't need to be done again. Guess what? Keep it relevant, keep it timely. You can see how this is not just about social media content, but when it comes to leadership, executive leadership, building trust at scale, connecting with your teams of thousands of people all over the world, different departments, different continents, different teams, different areas that they're working in and responsible for. When it comes to that, how do you lead? How do you show up? How do you build connections amongst all of those various departments? You can't travel to all of them every year, but you can build a strong personal brand that is accessible, that is available, that is transparent, and that does invest time in putting the spotlight on other people. By doing interviews with other people, executives can create an incredible impression and awareness in terms of corporate culture, about valuing staff, about sharing those insights of what makes your leadership, what defines your leadership. You can do it all with your smartphone. These are broadcast quality content creations, an entire TV studio in arm's reach, in your pocket. But it brings up another point, doesn't it, when we think about our phones and they're right within arm's reach all the time. And we see people scrolling everywhere you go, right? People are wanting to be entertained. They're wanting to connect. They're wanting to be informed, right? They're not watching TV, right? All of the, look at the contraction of mainstream media. It literally breaks my heart to hear about redundancies, to hear about cutbacks, to hear about shows being axed. It's happening all the time. It's not new. It's been happening since I started in the industry. The contraction is just, like you look at what the media is today compared to what it was when I started in the late 90s, it's but a fraction of what it was. Despite the population increasing, mainstream media is not what it was. But what is still the same, in fact, probably greater than ever, is people's appetite for stories, their desire to be entertained, their desire to be informed, and their curiosity around stories. It's a magic phrase that will always connect to say, let me tell you a story. Whatever you say next, people are going to listen. What is your story? People are hungry. They are scrolling, looking for content. We now have extraordinarily large social media companies with incredible reach, with members in the billions all over the world regularly accessing their accounts, looking at their feeds, curious, searching for stories and meaning and relevance and importance and what do they need to know. And that's where people are at. Every time you see people on their phones, that should remind you not only of this is the stage that we're in now, this is the era that we're in where people are looking for this level of entertainment. It's always been the case. People have always been looking for entertainment and information this way. And I'm just checking back on the feed. I'm seeing that it says the session's ended. I'm not entirely sure that that's accurate. And so please, as I hang out here on the south bank of the Yarra, the heart of Melbourne, I want to say thank you for joining. And you may have some comments or questions that you would like to put out there. And so I encourage you, please drop a comment in the list there. Feel free to ask a question, and I'd love to. And I've got Mark is there. Thank you, Mark, for joining. It's good to see you there. Let me know if any questions have popped up for you. Friends, this is the joy of showing up here to tell my story, to create connections with you all, to start a conversation. It is my delight to be exploring this new technology because I've dabbled in it for decades as a news reporter. creating content for media moguls to bring an audience to their advertisers, to generate revenue from advertising streams. The service we've provided was news and factual information and a bit of entertainment and awareness, sense of connection, belonging, understanding. That's news. And that's always been in my blood, storytelling. And now I love enabling others who have a story to share but don't know what their story is, who know they need a personal brand but are sort of shy to start building it out. It's my absolute delight now to share this, to start to equip people. All you need is a smartphone. You don't need other equipment, and all you need is the willingness to make yourself vulnerable, to take a risk, to put yourself out there. But friends, let me tell you what, if it feels uncomfortable putting yourself out there, there's power in vulnerability. Being honest about how, if you're feeling terrified about showing up, I guarantee you the people who watch you show up will have nothing but admiration and support for you. And so I want to inspire